the characters that he wrote, I mean, these are classic figures that I don't think he knew were going to be when he did. I don't think anybody sets out to write a classic necessarily. He did what writers did. They wrote. And, you know, and Irving had the good fortune to be like John Grisham or Stephen King. If the new Irving book was coming out, people were going to buy it. So you could have accused him, yeah, of printing money by writing a book. But on the other hand, that was his job. I have a feeling he was incredibly funny and self-deprecating. You read his letters, and he, more often than not, is the butt of his own joke. I mean, I think he could just charm the socks off of anybody. One of my favorite stories is the story involving Mary Shelley. And it's another one of those stories that has just sort of disappeared into, you know, historical obscurity, and I don't know why, because it's a great story. I mean, we all associate Mary Shelley with, you know, the romantics like Percy Shelley and Lord Byron, and had no idea she had this sort of schoolgirl crush on an American writer. When Poe was trying to make his way as a writer, Irving at that time was huge. And Poe was very crafty, very smart, and knew that the way you could ingratiate yourself into the literati was to have an endorsement from Washington Irving. Oliver Wendell Holmes compared it to Mount Vernon. I mean, he said it was the most famous and popular house on the planet. May have been an overstatement, the planet, but it was definitely a house that when anybody famous or political even came to the United States, they wanted to see Sunnyside. You know, it sits right on the river, so people could see it in the boats. The train went right by it, which made Irving crazy because they would blow the horn as they came by the house. But it was the site that people wanted to see. And Dickens, when he came to the United States, Irving actually invited him to stay at Sunnyside, and they were mutual friends. They loved each other's work, and they were actually real friends, very friendly to each other. Even though he never married, when he had Sunnyside, he immediately filled it with family. He immediately filled it with his nieces. He immediately had his brother move in. Family was very important to Irving, and I think anytime he was in a house where he felt completely at home, elements of that will show up in Sunnyside. This is a letter Irving has written to Henry Brevoort. He says, "I have attempted no lofty theme, nor sought to look wise and learned, which appears to be very much the fashion among our American writers at present. I have preferred addressing myself to the feeling and fancy of the reader more than to his judgment. My writing, therefore, may appear light and trifling in our country of philosophers and politicians, but if they possess merit in the class of literature to which they belong, it is all to which I aspire in the work."